Here is some feedback for question 5. Which set of numbers are irrational? So just plain as day, we're going to look at what numbers are irrational. So again, let's scroll up in your notes, see if we can find irrational. Here we go. An irrational number is a number that cannot be expressed as a ratio of two integers. So you can't turn them into fractions. So these are going to be numbers that are square roots that are not perfect squares. Um, they're going to be decimals that go on forever and ever without repeating. So here's an example, the square root of 2. Another irrational number example is pi. Pi is at 3.14159, and it just keeps going on forever and ever. The ratio between your circumference and the diameter of a circle. So those are just two examples right there. We can look at many examples. So if you just have a number, say negative 8.72159, on and on and on. It just keeps going on forever. Irrational, they can be positive or negative. You're just looking at, does that decimal end or repeat? And if it doesn't, if it just keeps going on forever without repeating, that is going to be an irrational number. Sometimes you don't see them as just in a decimal form. You might see them as underneath a radical. So say you have the square root of 11. Okay, so looking at it, it doesn't look like a decimal, but let's see what happens when we try to simplify the square root of 11. So if we go in a calculator and we hit 11, hit our square root key, look at this number, 3.3166247903553, and it just keeps going and going and going. This is an irrational number. So in the simplified form right here, the square root of 11, it doesn't quite look at it, but if you try and work out the square root of 11, you're going to get a decimal that just goes on forever and ever. So these again are examples of irrational numbers. So you're looking for those decimals that go on forever. Look for your radicals that are not perfect. So if you punch them into a calculator and you get that decimal that goes on forever and ever, those are irrational numbers.